Welcome to the very first episode of the Creating Responsible Companies podcast. We call this, Can We Really Change the World with a Podcast? Hi, I'm Barbra Anderson. I'm founding partner of Destination Better, and we are on a mission to change the world one responsible company at a time, both socially and environmentally.
And I'm Janet Craig, the other founding partner of Destination Better. And this year, Barbra and I celebrated the 6th birthday of our company.
Woohoo!
Yes. And we got a little curious and we wanted to know, are we really fulfilling our mission to create a better world, one responsible company at a time? So we went on what we say is a year-long journey, but it was
a long journey.
It's been a long journey. It's been about a year and now 4 or 5 months. And we talked to a lot of people. We talked to business leaders. We talked to corporate responsibility professionals. We talked to students who are graduating from colleges with sustainability degrees to find out what they needed. And what they needed, we found, was actually stuck up in our heads.
That's right. And it wasn't benefiting as many people when it's stuck up in there, was it?
No. And so that's how we came to that big aha moment of what we really need to be doing is sharing more of what we have accumulated over our careers, working with some really large companies and working for some of our own companies, sharing some good advice that we've given other leaders and corporate responsibility professionals and students, and also sharing some tools and see what happens.
It's an exciting new world, isn't it, Janet? Now, we have such an opportunity just really in the last 5 or 10 years with online tools, the way that we can share recording this podcast, being able to put information out there that traditionally we weren't able to do. And as you said, we've worked with some of the largest companies in the world, as large as Fortune 10 have turned to us for advice. And as we've done this along the way, we've found out that what really makes an individual successful, really any professional, about 80% of it is really that emotional, that relationship building, that knowledge of how to get things done in a company. And I think that's really even elevated more so for a corporate social responsibility professional, or call themselves a sustainability professional, right? Or corporate citizenship, whatever the name, the people who are formally or informally responsible for social and environmental initiatives inside of their company. And so it's an exciting space for us to delve into, to really be able to share this in a way that really is completely unprecedented. No other firm has ever done this before.
And one of the things that we found in some of our talks that we had with other business leaders and professionals in this space was we told them that what we wanted to do, and they looked at us like, are you crazy?
That's right.
Like, no, we're not crazy.
You're going to share things that you took years to create and to sell. And
absolutely. But the thing is that when we went through that year-long journey and we found out it was the 80-20 rule, right? 80% of what these leaders and CSR professionals and students really need are those soft skills that we learned by skinning our knees in the corporate trenches.
That's right.
To really accelerate what their programs are going to be inside their companies. And this is a company of any size. It doesn't have to be Fortune 10. It could be a small and medium business, which we've worked with as well.
Yeah, and that's, I think, one thing that's super exciting is that we know the largest percentage of companies in the world are small and medium-sized businesses, right? And they can't afford a consultant. And so to think about us providing this knowledge and these tools and these how-to resources is super exciting. And so as we spoke with our different stakeholders, and we actually, as part of the services we offer, is stakeholder engagement. So
we do a lot of...
That's right. We practice what we preached. And we found 3 different individual types, if you will. The first being the corporate social responsibility professional, which we'll say generally for any kind of sustainability professional or any type of corporate citizenship. So whether they're an entry-level person, whether they're in the executive offices responsible for these practices. The second is, as we found, Janet, is the huge gap of leaders who right now, there's probably a larger percentage who don't understand this space and the reasons behind them engaging in their communities and giving back to their employees, training their employees, everything from the social perspective internally and externally, and then from the environmental perspective. And that's really about managing their resources. And I will have to be the first to say I'm not a tree hugger. But if this is something that is valuable to the business where they can save money or they can adjust their processes, I will say that I'm frugal, and having been raised by Depression-era parents, that's just something that's inside of me, is what drives me as this space. And then the third is a really fun group that we have identified, and we've actually coined a name for. And what is that name, Janet?
Everyday superheroes.
Everyday superheroes. And so these are individuals who are inside of companies who want to make a difference. And so they want to live out their values. And we know, and we'll talk about this in future episodes, about especially millennials and Gen Zs really will only work at companies that align with their values. And so if we can empower them, equip them, educate them, and give them the resources to take off and go, then we know that it can have a huge impact. In fact, one of the future episodes that we have is about how millennials actually say that they think in 5 years they can make huge changes in the world, make positive progress, but they're looking for their companies to lead the way, right?
Yeah, and that's a really interesting point, because one of the things that we talk about with our team is that a lot of people ask me and Barbara about what we do, and sometimes it's a little hard to explain, but all the time.
All the time.
And but we're going to cover that for you CSR professionals. Right. We promise we're going to teach you how to get over that hump in your own company, so somebody doesn't scratch your head and go, so exactly what is it that you do for us? But in all seriousness, we're all human beings. Mm-hmm. And we all feel compelled to do something, or feel like we're called to do something. We've all got great God-given talents that they're just things that are effortless for us, mm-hmm. right? So those are those things that we're being called to do. And then we have things that we're being asked to do in our companies. And this goes back to the point of the millennials and Gen Zs too, who are just fiercely loyal, is that if what you're being called to do isn't quite matched with what you're being asked to do, there's a big gap in the middle. Mm-hmm. And that's the area of opportunity for companies, and for us in this podcast too, to help them close that gap, so that if you're being asked to make a decision in a company, you should be taking a look at what those social and environmental impacts are, and not just arbitrarily writing a check for your energy bill or whatever, but really try to close that gap between what I innately as a human being value and what I'm being asked to do at work. And so if we can bundle that up.
Yes, that's right.
Kind of like putting lightning in a jar, right? I think that those millennials, especially a lot of them who are up and comers in this space, and the Zs who are coming out of school mm-hmm. with sustainability degrees, they're going to feel empowered in their workplace. They're going to want to work at companies that are more responsible. And if you empower them to do so, you're going to have them for a really long time. Yeah.
And so it's definitely, as we've spoken to so many businesses in food service and distribution centers and production facilities and
shipping. We've worked with ports.
Yeah,
it goes on and on.
They are really having a hard time retaining that younger generation. And they also, the leaders of the company in large part, sometimes are having challenges because they have different social skills. And so if those leaders of the companies can tell their story about what they're doing socially and environmentally, it'll really help with retention, and that we believe in our every fiber that that's the case. And we have a saying, actually, don't we, that companies are doing great things, they just aren't telling their stories. And so we hope that this will encourage some business leaders to tell their stories, and a lot of times they're concerned that they aren't doing enough, so they don't want to say anything. But we've found that different. So
that is
tell us
quite the opposite. And just one more point too about the business leaders. A lot of them have just been completely 100% heads down and running their business, doing a really amazing job. But we also find that they may be slightly disconnected from environment, social opportunities in their business, and they need a safe space to ask questions and to learn. And so that's one of the other things. Barbara and I have done a lot of executive workshops where we've brought executives along and kind of said, look, this is what this is, and this is what it is for your company. Here's the information. You can make whatever decision you want, but this is what's happening. And so that was another thing that kind of propelled us and compelled us to do this podcast, is that we can either sit in a C-suite with companies and do them one at a time, or we can give them the information and the tools and they can sit and listen to a podcast and learn themselves. And we feel like we're going to make a lot bigger difference and kind of remove some of those barriers perhaps for some of those CSR professionals that are kind of making their way in their own companies.
And the companies that we've worked with, Janet, we know that when we're able to guide them and not do for them, that when it's embedded in the company and the leaders understand it and the employees are owning it and not some consultant coming in, that it has such better traction and they make such a bigger impact. And so we've identified 3 things that we want to do with our podcast, right? We want to equip, empower, and encourage business leaders, CSR professionals, and everyday superheroes. So you want to tell everyone how we're going to do that?
Yes, we have made some pretty major commitments. Number 1, under the equip umbrella, we are going to be giving away tools that we have created over the course of our careers that have made things really easy for us and for some of our clients, that really help them advance social environmental practices to create a better company. And then, of course, companies really aren't things. They're made of people.
That's right. So they're bodies of people.
They're bodies of people. They're all working together. And so really equipping them and giving them the tools and guiding them through kind of step by step and making it as easy as we possibly can. Second one is to empower. I mean, we really, Barbara and I have skinned our knees and elbows and
I could show them the skins where I skinned my knees in Hawaii.
Lots and lots of times. And we don't want other people to have to go through that. That's not a good way to learn. We'd rather teach you the positive way. And so we are going to be doing that, sharing some of the advice and guidance and knowledge that we've used to guide companies and executives and things like that. People who want to make a difference. And then encouraging. That really is helping CSR professionals and leaders and our everyday superheroes to learn in that safe environment that we were just talking about, and also sharing those resources. We're going to have all of our episodes obviously posted on our website, and we'll try our best to make sure that they're searchable so that if there's a podcast that a CFO needs to listen to, they can go on our page and they can see a big ribbon that says CFO.
That's right.
Or if it says, whatever else it says, that we'll try to make that happen. We want to make it as easy as possible. So equip, empower, encourage, and really have a much bigger, more positive impact on this world.
Right. And so Janet and I, having lived in the role of the CSR professional inside of companies, we know it's lonely. And so that's why we created this. We did a lot of research. There's a lot of podcasts on sustainability and companies and business, but there was not one who actually provided tools. So as Janet said, we've made a huge commitment that each episode will have a downloadable tool that they can take and use inside, whether it's for them or for their business. And so we've got some episodes that we've already recorded that we're excited to tell you about. Our next one is going to be more about Janet and I and our backgrounds and how others can learn from what we've done, mistakes that we've made, and also things that we've overcome and successes that we've had, and really so that we say it in a way that others can benefit from it. So that's our episode number 1.
It's not always smooth sailing, is it?
That's right. It takes a lot of bravery to be in this role. And then the second and third are part of a 2-part series. The first one is called Shift happens. So that one is looking back at all the trends and all the shifts that have taken place that have led us to where corporate social responsibility is a thing, which when you and I were in business school was not a thing.
Was not a thing. Profit was a thing.
Yeah, and so a lot of leaders are saying, where did this come from? So we'll explain that. And then the episode number 3 is looking at how CSR is mainstream in business today, why companies are being asked by their employees, their investors, their communities, their customers, the government, what things they're doing inside, what practices, ethical practices, what type of purchasing guidelines do they have, how are they treating their employees, how are they investing in their community. So why this is mainstream, and some substantiating articles that share that. And then the last two, or the next two, I should say, that are a part of a 2-part series we call Better You and then Better Company. So they're coupled because we believe that the professional, whether you're a corporate social responsibility professional, an everyday superhero, or somebody who's just interested in this space, we know that the relationship building skills, how to get things done, how to foster relationships or agreements with others in your company, because they have the information you need, they have the know-how, and not one person in a large company or even a small company can own all of this. So how to encourage them, educate them, and get them on your team as champions, right? And so that's episodes called Better You. And then episode number 5 is called Better Company. And so that's got our 3-step plan, which will make it easy for companies to start down this path or maybe accelerate or advance any initiatives that they already have. So how can you participate in this? We'd love to have you join us for each episode. We'll have it on our website at destinationbetter.com. We'll have all of the episodes on there. We're on social media channels. Janet, you want to tell them which ones we're on?
Absolutely. So if you want to follow us on Facebook, we have a Destination Better Facebook page. We also have a Destination Better Facebook group, which is filling up quickly with all kinds of people all over the country who are in these roles or interested in working in this space. We're also on Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube.
That's right. So you'll be able to see the videos on some channels and then the audio. In terms of our episodes, we'll be on Apple Music, I guess iTunes now. Or vice versa, right? iTunes. We'll be on Stitcher, Spotify, and for those Android users,
Google Play.
We'll be on Google Play. So we hope that you'll find value in this. We encourage you to listen to at least the next 5, and we did those very strategically, didn't we? So that it's kind of a progression.
Yep, kind of carry you on a mission. And we have also, we laugh about this, but we've made a kind of multi-generational family.
Oh, that's right.
I'm sorry, multi-generational website.
For our multi-generational family.
That's right. That's right. So if you're interested in nominating somebody who you think would be really great to have on the show, we would love to hear from you. So there's a place on our website where you can do that. And then also, if you just go to our Say Hello tab on our website, you can leave us a voicemail or send us a note if there's a topic that you want us to cover, or if you have some questions, let us know. We're here.
We want to be a resource for you. We've got a team that's all around the world of dedicated professionals in each of these areas. So we've built ourselves with our team with some amazing people who can also serve as resources for you. So we hope you'll share this and subscribe to the podcast on one of those channels and interact with us. And that's really what Janet and I want to do, right? We want to foster our community and advance these topics and really make an impact around the world.